This part is not going to be fun. Hello, people of the internet. I have a ton of work to get done in this video. I don't even know if I'll get it all done in one video. And it involves more paint work. If you're new and you want to get caught up on Project Ragnar, my 1969 Volkswagen Beetle that I am building to give away to one of you. If you want to get to win this car, in the video description down below is where you can go to enter for your chance to win it. If you missed out in the last video, I fully prepped and painted the A-pillars, dash, and jams of the inside of the car, the original factory color. And up above is not a link to that video, but a tale of fishing with mice. I don't know about you, but I'd say this weather stripping on these rear quarter glasses needs to be replaced. Currently waiting right now. In about 2 hours, a shipping company is coming to pick up the TT. These things are super easy to remove. It's literally a bunch of screws. This quarter glass hinge should pop right off. This is mildly nerve-wracking, not gonna lie. Okay. That's it. That's all holds it in. There's supposed to be 5 screws per window. I only have 2. That's crazy. I gotta get some hardware. Okay. I gotta try not to get as attached to this car as I was teeter-tot, because it makes giving a car away really, really difficult. The chrome isn't really the nicest looking on this thing. It looks poorly done, like this wasn't very expensive. I don't think it's factory. Oh, it is factory. It's a Hella. I will shut my mouth. Well, that's cool. The whole entire thing is amber. I almost want to leave the cover off. I like the way that looks. I personally cannot stand chrome trim on vehicles, but I understand it's a generational period thing, so I gotta leave some chrome on the car. Oh, this one's got a white bulb. Yep. A nut. Brown is ground, white and green. Okay. Wow. Now that's a lazy paint job right there. They didn't even take off the rubber molding when they painted this thing. See? That's something you don't want to have to deal with right there. Is shitty paint jobs. Unless you have a booth of your own or know how to paint and paint well, it's just a nightmare to have to deal with that unless it's original paint. Oh, geez. That's no good. I have to take care of that. Oh, these things are super rusted. These are definitely not going back on there. That chrome is gonna flake off in big pieces. Let's see. Are these weird faded pinkish red taillights originals? Oh. I don't know. Judging by the fact that this is all surface rusted on the inside, I don't think these are originals. And it's really weird that they're faded like this. They don't say anything on them. There you go. Hella. So these shrouds right here are original. I don't know about the lenses though. Brief intermission of sadness. Teeter-tot. Oh man. This is goodbye, teeter-tot. The shipper is here to get teeter-tot. I gotta say goodbye. I guess this is my last drive. I never even really got to drive this car. I drove it when I filmed the car review, and that was the last time I drove it. Never really got to enjoy it. I'm gonna give this book to the new owner of the car because they are absolutely going to need it. Because this car does not have a good track record. So the shipper is here. He's taking his video and pictures of the TT, and it's getting loaded on like a car carrier, a big semi-truck car carrier. Well, if the clutch is burnt up, we know why. That was tough. Original part. That looks weird, like it's missing its eyes. This has gotta go. This stays with the car forever. Come off. Jeez, this bumper doesn't even weigh but like 5 pounds. Hello people, and welcome to the following day. I have the worst part of this job ahead of me. I've been going around and assessing the paint before I start working it. You can see right here, that's all rust bubbles underneath. The edge of this fender is dented up pretty bad from looks like someone opening a door into it. This whole area was a big bubble in the paint. You can still see some of it right there. And I popped it to see what's underneath. It's just bare metal. And again, there's just more little spots where the paint's bubbling up. And you can see how terrible the paint job actually was in areas like this. The spot right here had visible sand scratches right there underneath the gray paint. I picked up one of these gray 3M whistle biscuits. And I'm gonna use this to hit up the areas where there's visible rust or anywhere that there's rust bubbles. This will give me an idea what I'm working with. It's honestly not even that bad. I probably don't even need to use phosphoric acid. Like all the rust came off. I would say just this area right here is really where I need to be concerned with the phosphoric acid to make sure all these little tiny pits are neutralized. But everything outside of that, that's just a little bit of paint that I missed. There's no more rust outside this area. This car definitely did not get this rust from being here in Arizona, and the fact that this thing had a bunch of stickers that were from Utah that I found out because of one of you in the comments section is probably how it ended up with these little rust spots. There's one thing I learned growing up in New Hampshire, it's that rust is like cancer and it is incredibly difficult to completely eradicate from a body panel, no matter what you do once it starts getting past a certain point. This up here at first I was like, okay, that's treatable. But then when I got down here to the headlight and I started finding how bad it was all around down the edge of the headlight, like it's just expanding downward, and it's pretty well into that, like embedded. And then I started looking at the back side of it. You can see it's super bubbled right here on the edge. And there's some more of it down here under the back of the headlight bucket. And then down inside here, you can see it in the back side of the front fender. The rear fenders are in a lot better shape than the front ones. Like even these areas didn't have any rust. And then right here in the rain rails where the paint was failing, there's no rust in there. It was just a crappy paint job. If this car was gonna spend the rest of its life in the desert Southwest, I really wouldn't be as worried about it, but I don't know where this car is gonna end up, so I feel the correct thing to do is to put new fenders on the front of it. I just don't want someone to have to deal with that a couple of years from now and have more rust bubbles start forming around the headlights and stuff, so. Oh man, $8. This had to have been like 40 years ago. Nothing is $8 anymore. Just as I suspected. That sucks. Oh. Holy shit, I saved my camera from getting smashed. Oh geez. This last one is stuck because the nut plate that's supposed to be welded onto the body of the car, like this one right here, yeah, it's not anymore. Fender off. Now you can see what the backside of this thing looks like. The whole backside of that headlight bucket area is all rusty. That's all rusted out right there. That's actually, oh, it's really thin down here too. Technically, that fender is probably savable, but the amount of hours of labor I will have into it trying to make it rust-free and good again to use, I'd be money ahead to just buy new fenders for this car. Oh wow, this one was actually worse. Like way, way worse than the other fender. There's a lot more rust on this one. It goes all the way up into there. Yeah, it's a good thing I'm replacing these then. It's crazy though, this stuff is relatively rust-free compared to the fenders. Like this is nowhere near as bad as the fenders were. The bracket down there for the bumper has some surface rust on it. If it wasn't for the fact that I have to film car reviews in here every week and pull all the cars out to do so, I would probably take the shell off of the floor pan. That way I could like sandblast it and give a good rubber undercoating. If you guys remember when I had this thing on the lift though, the underside of the car is rust free. So it looks like just the areas where stuff kind of got trapped in between where that rubber weather stripping, and especially under the headlights and stuff, that's where rust could collect and form because nothing else really has rust on it. Welcome to the last day in this video. I made a command decision to strip all of the paint off the car with paint stripper down to bare metal. I have a young angel food cake here with me today from next door. He's gonna help me get this thing ready and strip the paint down to bare metal. This is gonna suck. I have to take this off so we can get rid of the paint. I cannot break this window because they do not make them anymore. And also because that's his name tag. Oh, weird. Can I just secure it? I wonder if it'll come out the top or the bottom. I think the top. Dude, I'm gonna try to... Oh, Jesus, it's gonna fall off. Good, we did it. Yeah. So now that Ragnar Lothbrok's back window is out, the scary part's over. That's not the scary part. The scary part's stripping paint.
It's burning our skin off.
We're gonna breathe in bad chemicals today.
Yeah, that's the fun part.
So this back window jam, way better condition than the front one. There's no big rust flakes underneath here. So that's a really good sign.
Fluffy. Windsocks are windy. But you can have windsocks that look like ferrets, so they can be similar in looks and or color. And then, I mean, ferrets I guess are living things. Windsocks are not. Ferrets have claws. Windsocks don't have claws.
I don't know whose first gen Forester this is that just pulled up at the shop, but this thing is super, super clean. Like super clean. That's a small Sarah, she's moving soon.
And it's not a very clean car.
That's okay. It is time for Angel Food Cake and I to get rid of all this paint. This part is not going to be fun. We took the car outside because the fumes from that aircraft paint stripper are terrible, and I ordered one of those big 3M respirators with the air supply system, but it's not here yet.
My ass cheeks are getting seared to this concrete. It's like 100 degrees outside. gonna be crispy.
With this thing having like 5 different paint jobs on it, I feel this is the correct thing to do, because why would I put a nice paint job on top of failing crappy paint? It just makes the new paint just as likely to fail. We're gonna do the hood first. Put on this ass mask and time to strip. This stuff's pretty bad. If you smell it, that's gonna be impressive. Did you get it on you?
I didn't notice until it started burning. Okay.
If someone makes a comment about not having PPE on, it's like 110 degrees outside. Literally like 110 out here.
Woo! I think it's because the breeze is blowing this way.
Yeah, because I don't smell anything.
I could feel it in my eyes.
So we put this stuff all over the hood, and now Angel Food Cake is going to cover up the paint remover with this plastic sheet. Just because it's so hot out right now, it should help trap this stuff in here. So I didn't record us doing it because my cameras were overheating. This is so hot out, but it's all covered. We got plastic over it. There's some spots that are obviously not covered up well, but this stuff is so horrible to work with, and it smells even with a full respirator on. It's just awful, awful stuff to have to deal with. You can see the plastic right here blowing. There's little bits of paint fragments coming off from Satan's jizz. It's all... You alright?
Oh yeah.
I can't tell if that's bare metal or what it is.
Oh yeah, look at it. Peeled the sheet.
Dude, this works so good up here. Maybe we just didn't leave it long enough.
Maybe.
I don't know if you can hear that on camera, but that's thunder. And it's coming this way. I think that's it. We haven't really filmed much, but it's kind of hard when you're working on time-sensitive stuff because the stuff is like drying. So I just pushed the car inside, and I can happily report there's almost 0 body filler on this thing. The only spots, there's a ding on the hood that had some filler. There was a little spot back here that had a skim coat of body filler on it. And there was a little skim coat of filler right here and right here, which is gone. It was so thin. Before I start wearing a respirator in like 105, 110 degree heat, whatever it is outside, because I don't want to be on a camera after I pull that respirator off. So hopefully this came out well. You know before I will, because space-time continuum or something. I'll see you guys soon with another video. Bye! Bye, Teeter Tot.